All right, today we're working on Chapter 4, Section 2, which is exponents. Make sure you write this in your notes. Exponents are used to show repeated multiplication. Now this right here, we'll talk about how to say it, everything like that, what the parts are called, but right now let me just show you what this means. This means that we are taking this number 2 and multiplying it by itself 6 times. So we're multiplying 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 6 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So instead of writing out this entire sentence, all we have to say is 2 to the 6th power, which is right here. That's all exponents are used for. It's kind of a shortcut. Okay, so now let's talk about what this is. 2 to the 6th power is called a power. The entire thing, this right here, is called a power. Now within the power you have different parts. So let's talk about the first part. The first part is called the base. This number here, 2, is the base of the entire power. And then that little floating number is called the exponent. Okay? So let's talk about what these mean and how to say them and everything like that. So in this column here, we're going to talk about what the power is. Then we'll talk about how to say it. And then we'll talk about what it means. Okay, so let's look at the first example. We have 12 to the first power. That's how you say that, 12 to the first power. 12 is the base, 1 is the exponent. So it means we're taking 12 and multiplying it by itself 1 time. So we're not even multiplying it, it's just 12 1 time. So it equals 12. All right, let's look at the next one. This you would say 6 to the 2nd power, or with 2nd power we have a little shortcut and we could say 6 squared. Most often you'll hear people say 6 squared, but you could say 6 to the 2nd power. And what that means is we're taking the base, which is 6, and multiplying it by itself 2 times. So 6 times 6, and what that equals is 36. Okay, one more example here. Now we're doing this with a variable. This is our base, our exponent. You would say this x to the 4th power. X is our base. We're raising it to the 4th power. Now what that means is we're taking x and multiplying it by itself 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's it. Okay, so now let's talk about how you would write this. It says write using exponents. So here we are multiplying 9. That means that 9 is the base. So I write 9. Now how many times did we multiply it by itself? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that means that the exponent is 5. 9 to the 5th power. Okay, number 2. 3 and 6 are numbers. Those are the only numbers in the problem, but they're not the same base. That means that I cannot put 3, 6. It's not 36. I have to actually multiply these two numbers. So that would be 18. Now I can look at my variables. So my next base is going to be x. How many times are we multiplying x? 1, 2, 3. So it's x to the 3rd power. And then our next base is y. And how many times are we multiplying y? 1, 2. So the short version of this whole sentence would just be 18x to the 3rd power, y to the 2nd power, or y squared. Okay, now look at number 3. See how it's different from number 2. In number 2, our numbers were 3 and 6. They were not the same base, so we had to actually multiply them. In number 3, we have a 4 times a 4. Since those have the same base, I can write it using exponents. So I would write 4 squared, because there's 2 of them, 1, 2. My next base will be m, and it's 1, 2 m's, so that's m squared. And my last base is z. 1, 2, 3, 4 z's, so it'll be z to the 4th power. Now, if we had to solve these, if it said solve or evaluate in the directions, we would not be done. We would have to actually type in our calculator 9 to the 5th power and get an answer. For this one, for number 3, we would have to type in 4 squared. which would be 16m squared z to the fourth power. But it says write using exponents in the direction, so that's not the answer I want. I want it with the exponents this time. So you have to pay attention to what your directions say. What I do want to point out though is it would be perfectly acceptable to have 4 squared z to the fourth m squared. The order doesn't matter. Notice I switched the m and the z, but the m still has the squared with it and the z still has the fourth with it. So you can rewrite it, you can write it in any order as long as you make sure that you put the correct exponent with the correct base. Okay, now let's practice using exponents. We're evaluating. That means we're going to have an answer. We're not writing it with exponents. And we want to evaluate this. We want to solve this for m equals 3. All that means is I'm taking the 3 and plugging it in place of m in this problem. So instead of negative 6 times m squared, it will be negative 6 times 3 squared. All I did was replace the m with a 3. And now we go back to following our order of operations, parentheses, exponents, multiplication or division, addition and subtraction. We do not have parentheses. I know that these are parentheses, but remember, if there's only one term within the parentheses, that really means multiplication. So I need to do no parentheses, so we need to do exponents. So 3 squared does not mean 3 times 2. It means 3 times itself 2 times. 3 times 3, which is 9. And I want to keep that in parentheses so I know that I should multiply it by the negative 6. And then negative 6 times 9 would be negative 54. That's it. That's my answer. We just evaluated that. Okay, one more like that. We're evaluating this right here for x equals 2. So everywhere I see an x, I'm plugging in a 2 in place of it. So it'll be 3 times 2 plus 5 squared. Everything stayed the same. It's just that I changed that x to a 2 because that's what they told me. And now we solve. Parentheses, exponents, multiplication or division, addition or subtraction. So we do have parentheses in this case. This part right here. But within the parentheses, we have multiple operations. We have multiplication and addition. I need to do multiplication before addition, so I'll multiply 2 times 2, which is 4. And now I'm just bringing everything else down the way that I see it in the same order. All I did was this part, so that's the only thing that changed. Now we need to keep going with parentheses. We've got addition now. So it'll be 3 times 9 squared. That's the only thing that changed because 4 plus 5 is 9. Now we don't have anything else in the parentheses, so we need to go to the next step, which is exponents. So I need to do the 9 squared next. Remember, it's not 9 times 2, it's 9 times itself 2 times. So 9 times 9 would be 81. And then I need to multiply that by 3, and 3 times 81 would be 243. So we just evaluated this so that x equals 2. That's the answer, and we're done. All right, that's it for today, guys. Bye-bye.